Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Namaskar. Welcome to National Resource Center of Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. It is an identified National Resource Center by MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. Welcome to online refresher course on English language teaching. Friends, this is for the first time an online refresher course is launched in English language teaching by Government of India. I extend very warm welcome to all the participants in this online refresher course in English language teaching. You all are aware that earlier we used to go to designated human resource development centers or academic staff colleges for attaining refresher courses or orientation programs. Now the scene has changed. Government has thought in a different direction. They thought to come out with online refresher courses. These online refresher courses are planned for all the 13 lakh teachers working in higher education in India. And this is one of such program. This program is meant for you, English teacher or any language teacher. Welcome to the module on classroom management and English language teaching. I would like to invite Professor Shabina Omer, the author of the module, and she has created the module. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Professor Shabina Omer is Head Department of English since last 18 years in Mili Al-Amin College for Girls, affiliated to University of Calcutta. She has served as a principal in charge of the institute for more than 15 years. She has also been previously associated as Head of Department of English at Alia University and has nearly 2 decades of teaching experience in English language and literature in the UG and PG levels. She has won great acclaim of her critical and creative writings in several national and international books and journals. She was nominated for the International Visitor Program and was invited by the US Department of State to visit many American universities, including Harvard University, where she has participated in various academic programs as educational administrator. Today she is a part of elite international group called US Exchange Alumni. She is a national resource person for various UGC human resource development centers across the country and conducts sessions in faculty development programs such as orientation programs, refresher courses on various aspects of higher education and English language teaching. She has been an invited delegate for the last 5 years in higher education workshops in National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration under the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. She is also an empaneled invited resource person for Oxford University Press and conducts pan-India teacher training workshops on enhancing professional competence and skill development, effective teaching strategies, English language teaching, and motivation of self and learners. An academician, writer, orator, gender activist, and motivational speaker cum professional skill trainer who consider herself to be a lifelong scholar. Professor Omer is dedicated and committed to the cause of empowerment of women through educational development in India and has been variously felicitated for the same. It is a pleasure to have her speak as a resource person in this online refresher course in English. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Before I start presenting my module, Professor Joshi, I would like to extend my deep and immense gratitude to you for making me a part of such a visionary and such a laudable initiative, the first online refresher course in English. My congratulations to you, sir, on coordinating this course. Today, my module is entitled Classroom Management and English Language Teaching. It is both a pleasure and a privilege to be associated with this refresher course and to continue to contribute to teacher training. It is a laudable initiative by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, and I believe that it truly upholds the spirit of the saying Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, which is also an approach of the Government of India, a very important vision. I want to say a few things before I actually begin my presentation. And one of my submissions is that the true illiterate of today is not the ignorant learner. It is the person who is not willing to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And it is with this approach that today I have chosen to present a topic which is called classroom management in English language teaching, because I believe that unless there is order in the classroom, there is neither teaching nor learning possible. And thus, I want to make a presentation on a topic entitled Classroom Management and English Language Teaching. So, before I make my presentation, I want to make two things very, very clear for all the participants who might take up this course. One, I am not presenting any research papers. These are curated and collated ideas taken from myriad sources. Several valuable ideas which I have come across in my personal and professional experience, and they relate to the field of teaching in general and English language in particular. Second, I am here to share experiences, to share certain techniques which will help us grow and empower each other. I am not here to give a lecture in the sense of conducting a class. I am not here to dispense nuggets of wisdom like an oracle speaking. I am merely presenting before the audience, the takers of this course, certain lectures in a very concise and precise form, wherein I can substantiate a few with examples. I would ask the people watching this, reading the modules, and looking at the videos to feel free to disagree without being disagreeable, because that is very important in a democracy, that there must be dissension and disagreement. So I hope to grow with the participants. I hope to learn from the feedback given to me. I hope to share certain experiences, and I would like the participants to look upon this not as a lecture cum demonstration, but rather as a senior associate, a senior colleague, sharing certain ideas that I have found very valuable and very useful in my tenure of teaching. So this is in a gist of what is my approach to the course, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I would like to ask you to let our participants know that what exactly the module is about. Will you give them some idea about the module?
Absolutely, sir. The module is about classroom management. Today, the classroom is a very fluid space. It is not a site for perpetuating undemocratic life. It is not a place for addressing social power. Yes, it remains a place for the transmission of knowledge, but we must take into account the culture and context of the learners who come into our classroom. We live in a diverse country. We have a very heterogeneous, diverse group of people who are there in our class, and one strategy may not apply to all. So before we embark on any strategy for teaching English, we must understand that the classroom is not a platform for the display and transmission of power and knowledge. It is evolving as a very plausible field for initiating the processes of reflection, research, and knowledge dissemination. So how do we teach? How do we manage? How do we progress as teachers in a classroom that is full of diverse elements, native learners, non-native learners, people who live on cultural hinterlands, people who live on geographical hinterlands, people who may be economically disenfranchised, people who may not be so outspoken. How do we address all kinds of diversities that we encounter as teachers in our daily life? When it comes to English language, there are several habits and there are several techniques as the contemporary world is changing every day. So, to become academically productive in a class, what exactly does a teacher need to do? What are the techniques, the strategies, the approaches, and the attitudes a teacher must keep in mind, a teacher must practice and implement? Because, after all, sir, as you have said, this is a course for teachers, it is a teacher training course. So, how can we become more meaningful, more potent, and how can we leave a more lasting impression on the students of today? Because we are not just teaching them a subject, we are teaching them a skill. English language teaching today is a skill. It needs to be incorporated by every student so that he or she can ensure a position in the globalized world, in a job market, and can enhance our national productivity. So this is the kind of approach I am looking at. These are the various things I will share and explore in the course of the video segments of my module. Before I begin a formal presentation, since I am privileged to be sharing the podium with you and we are starting this in a very informative, interactive way, I would like to show our viewers and you a short film clip. And then, sir, I would request you to respond to that film clip.
Sure, we will have a look at.
Let's have a look at the clip. Sir, I showed you a film and the target audience, a film about the soaring eagle.
Yes.
The eagle is a bird which soars at the highest space.
Yes.
But in order to soar, an eagle is born to soar, it will attain those heights.
True.
In order to soar, an eagle needs a push.
True.
So, what is your response to this movie, this film clip about the soaring eagle requiring a push? And how do you think, if at all, it is relevant to the context of the module created?
I would say that it is a very relevant film clip and contains a very powerful message. The necessity of motivation in life. We can only push others by first pushing ourselves. We can only soar and succeed if we step beyond our comfort zone. So I would say that this is really a very relevant clip, and everybody, including all of us, the participants and us, we need a push.
You're right. And I believe it is this push which transforms a person into a professional.
True.
All of us have personal skills, but we need in the course of life professional attributes.
True.
So let me ask you a question. We've all heard of our teachers being very good. We
True.
talk about our teachers were very good and we remember our teachers. We revere and respect them.
True.
Given your experience and my experience, and maybe the collective experience of the participants who are watching us right now, what would you say are the qualities of a good teacher? Who is, according to you, a good teacher?
If I define a good teacher, I would say a person who is a resource specialist, who has a lot of resources, caring, honest, sincere, knowledgeable, thorough and sympathetic, humorous, maybe an actor sometimes, and interesting, pleasant personality, and yes, of course, patient listener.
That's quite an exhaustive list that you have come up with, and I'm glad that these are the qualities that are there regarded in what should be a good teacher.
True.
Now let me ask you another question. Considering that you yourself have been a teacher, I'm a teacher,
Yeah.
we are both educational administrators, we are conducting training, we are participating and coordinating such programs. Does being a good teacher necessarily mean that that person is an effective teacher?
I would say the answer is negative.
Okay.
To utilize your maximum self potential, one needs to evolve from good teacher into an effective teacher. So being good and being effective are two different things which are required.
So, sir, I'm very glad that you share my views in this very important distinction, which is actually the basis of every development program that can
True.
take place in any professional, should I say, arena. So now that we have drawn a distinction between the good teacher and the effective teacher, how would you suggest may a teacher evolve from being a good teacher into an effective teacher?
I would say by self-analysis and strengthening your competences, while at the same time overcoming your weakness. And this is the entire point of this kind of training, this kind of online refresher courses or faculty development programs which are offered to the teachers. They help us to identify our SWOT analysis and to strengthen ourselves.
Sir, I'm glad you mentioned the SWOT, the SWOT analysis. I would say that a good teacher becomes effective by becoming smart. And by
Very true.
smart, I mean the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals.
Very true.
To do this, you have to go through the following processes. The first is introspection. Because the
Yes.
moment we say that the class is not performing, when we point one finger to the class, we are pointing three fingers
To
inward.
us.
So we must introspect. We must analyze. On the basis of our self-introspection, our self-analysis, we must go forward to self-motivation and self-development. And therefore, I would say that an effective teacher will have the following qualities. He or she will be someone who is giving such relevant input that it leads to better output. Somebody who is goal-oriented and deadline-driven. Somebody who is in complete command over digital literacy. Somebody who is excellent in time management, adept in classroom management, a very good orator, explainer, organizer. Somebody who is an exemplar, who can lead by example. Somebody who is in command over the subject. And somebody who is regularly updated in subject, pedagogy, and techniques of teaching. So one may be born a good teacher, but one has to evolve into an effective teacher. And this process of becoming an effective teacher is by refining, polishing, and channelizing the attributes that we may inherently have. So therefore, what makes an effective teacher? And I would request the target audience to take a look at an excellent book called Learning to Teach in Higher Education by noted scholar Paul Ramsden. And this is also presented as part of an article by Marilyn Weamer, who is a PhD in effective teaching strategies. So these are the points we need to highlight. We are all good teachers. We are passionate, we are committed, we are sincere. But the moment our class is not giving us the desired output in consonance with the input that we are giving, there is a gap somewhere. And teacher training programs, faculty development programs, and such ambitious initiatives as this online refresher course seeks to address this lacunae, to overcome this gap, and to lead to an enhancement of professional competency and better skill development of the self.
These are really very important inputs, and I'm glad that the module is incorporated in this program. In fact, we also need to introspect and empower ourselves with these abilities even as we are disseminating such information and conducting this training.
Thank you, sir. It is a very laudable initiative, and once again, I'm very pleased to be a part of it. And it is with these introductory thoughts and this kind of discussion that I shall now lead the module forward over the next segments incorporated into this online refresher course. Thank you so much.